Welcome back to the Buddhist Bookshelf YouTube channel. Today, we will resume our reading of the Sorrowless Flower, authored by Ngoc Tran, known as Dharma named Thien Phuc, and this is episode number 32. 416. Assemblies. In Buddhism, when we speak about assemblies we should use the term Sangha. This is a Sanskrit term for community. The community of Buddhists. In a narrow sense, the term can be used just to refer to monks, bhiksu, and nuns, bhikshuni. However, in a wider sense, Sangha means four classes of disciples: monks, nuns, upasaka and upasika. Laymen, upasaka, and laywomen, upasika, who have taken the 5 vows of the Panchasila, fivefold ethics. All four groups are required formally to adopt a set of rules and regulations. Monastics are bound to 250 and 348 vows, however, the actual number varies between different Vinaya traditions. An important prerequisite for entry into any of the four categories is an initial commitment to practice of the Dharma, which is generally expressed by taking refuge in the three jewels: Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. The fourfold assembly in the order includes monks, nuns, laymen or male devotees, upasaka, lay women or female devotees, upasika. According to the Thien Phuc sect, the fourfold assembly include the assembly which Sariputra stirred the Buddha to begin his Lotus Sutra sermons. The pivotal assembly, those who were responsive to him. Those hearers of the Lotus who were adaptable to its teaching and received it. The reflection assembly, those like Manjusri, who reflected on or drew out the Buddha's teaching. Those who only profited in having seen and heard a Buddha, and therefore whose enlightenment is delayed to a future life. While the fourfold assembly of a monastery includes monks, nuns, novi monks and novice nuns. Tayo, bai, means destroy, and kyo, ksu, means passions and delusions. Bhiksu means one who destroys the passions and delusions. A religious mendicant who has left home and renounced bhikkhu who left home and renounced all possessions in order to follow the way of Buddha, and who has become a fully ordained monk. A male member of the Buddhist Sangha who has entered homeless and received full ordination. A bhiksu's life is governed by 250 precepts under the most monastic code. All bhiksus must depend on alms for living and cultivation, without any exception. All bhiksus are Sakya seeds, offspring of Buddha. Bhiksu still has 3 meanings. Mendicants, frightener of Mara and destroyer of evil. First, beggar for food or mendicant, someone who has just a single bowl to his name, accumulates nothing, no worldly money and properties, and relies exclusively on asking for alms to supply the necessities of life. There are 2 kinds of mendicant: internal and external mendicants. Internal mendicants are those who are able to self-control his or her internal mental or spiritual methods. External mendicants are those who are able to self-control his or her externals such as strict diet. Second, frightener of Mara, delusion, someone who has accepted the full set of 250 disciplinary precepts. His karma has reached the level of development that he immediately fears delusion. Third, destroyer of evil, someone who has broken through evil, someone who observes everything with correct wisdom, someone who has smashed the evil of sensory afflictions and does not fall into perceptions molded by desires. In the Dharmapada Sutra, the Buddha taught, the worst taint is ignorance, the greatest taint. O bhikshu, cast aside this taint and become taintless. Dharmapada 243. He who strictly adorned, lived in peace, subdued all passions, controlled all senses, ceased to injure other beings, is indeed a holy Brahmin, an ascetic, a bhikshu. Dharmapada 142. A man who only asks others for alms is not a mendicant, not even if he has professed the whole law. Dharmapada 266. A man who has transcended both good and evil, who follows the whole code of morality, who lives with understanding in this world, is indeed called a bhikshu. Dharmapada 267. Bhikshuni is a nun, a female observer of all the commandments, or a female mendicant who has entered into the order of the Buddha and observes the 348 or 364 precepts for nuns. In addition, a bhikkhuni must always observe the 8 commanding respect for the monks, Bot Kin Jiao. In order to establish the first order of nuns, Ananda insisted the Buddha to accept his mother, Mahaprajapati, she was also the Buddha's aunt and stepmother, to be the first nun to be ordained. In the 14th years after his enlightenment, the Buddha yielded to persuasion and admitted his aunt and women to his order of religious mendicants, but said that the admission of women would shorten the period of Buddhism by 500 years. Besides, there are 6 samanas, a female novice, observer of the 6 commandments. One of the 5 classes of ascetics, a female neophyte who is from 18 to 20 years of age, studying 6 rules, adultery, stealing, killing, lying, alcoholic liquor, eating at unregulated hours, to prepare to receive a full ordination. There are also 2 classes of laypeople, those who still remain at home. Upasak and Upasika. Upasaka is a Buddhist male worshipper, lay person, a lay disciple, in both forms of Buddhism, Theravada and Mahayana, is a person who vows to join the religion by striving to take refuge in the Triratna and to keep the 5 precepts at all times and the 8 precepts on Upasatha days, and who tries to follow the Eightfold Path whilst living in the world. They are Buddhist supporters by offering material supplies, food, clothes, and so on. Countries with Buddhist tradition, formal ordination of lay followers is extremely important, for this is the central ceremony of faith for them to lead a virtuous life. Upasika is a female devotee. According to the Sanjiti Sutta in the long discourses of the Buddha, there are 8 assemblies. First, the assembly of Khatiyas. This is one of the 4 Indian castes. In India, it is the second or warrior and ruling caste in India during Sakyamuni's time. Chinese render it as landowners and royal caste, the caste from which the Buddha came forth. Second, the assembly of Brahmanes. This is an age-old religion in India, dated 4,000 years ago, and founded by Krishna. According to the Vedas, Brahma has the power to create all sentient beings and things. There are 4 castes in Hindu society system. In Brahmanist concept, the present life is temporary, while death is the return to Brahma to live an eternal happy life if one obeys Brahma's tenets. Brahmins belong to the highest class in Indian society during the time of the Buddha. The 3rd kind of assembly is the assembly of householders. The 4th kind of assembly is the assembly of ascetics. The 5th kind of assembly is the assembly of devas of the realm of the 4 great kings. The 6th kind of assembly is the assembly of the 33 gods. The 7th kind of assembly is the assembly of Maras, celestial demons or demons in heavens. This is one of the 4 Maras who dwells in the 6th heaven, Paranamita Vasavartan, at the top of the Kamadhatu, with his innumerable host, whence he constantly obstructs the Buddha truth and followers. This symbolizes idealistic people who disturb Buddhism. There are 3 different kinds of celestial Maras. The first one is the slayer, who does things to hurt oneself. The second one is the Mara who is sinful of love or desire, as he sends his daughters to seduce the saints. The third one is the Papian, a kind of evil who is the special Mara of the Sakyamuni period. The 8th assembly is the assembly of Brahmas. A Brahma is a chief of Hindu gods, often described as the creator of world system. Brahma is also the lord of the heavens of form, the father of all living beings, the first person of the Brahmanical Trimurti, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, recognized by Buddhism as devas, but as inferior to a Buddha or enlightened man. Devas in the realm of form. There are 3 kinds. The assembly of Brahmadevas, i.e. Brahmakeka, Brahmapurahitas, or retinue of Brahma, and Mahabrahman, or Brahman himself. Besides, there are also many different kinds of assembly. First, Great Sea Congregation or the Assembly of the Saints. The Great Congregation, as all waters flowing into the sea become salty, as all ranks flowing into the Sangha become of one flavor and lose old differentiations. The Assembly of the Saints, who have great virtues. Second, Forming Connection Assembly or the multitude of Buddhists. Those who only profited in having seen and heard a Buddha, and therefore whose enlightenment is delayed to a future life. The company of those who now become Buddhists in the hope of improved karma in the future, one of the 4 groups of disciples. Third, assembly of spirits. The assembly for offerings of the spirits below and above, pretas, etc. Fourth, constant companions of the Buddha. The 1250 arhats who constantly accompanied the Buddha after he turned the wheel of Dharma. They were bodhisattvas belonging to the Dharmakaya, who just manifested themselves as monastic disciples of the Buddha to help the Buddha to spread his teachings. 417. The Holy Assemblies. The holy multitude means the assembly of all the saints, or the sacred. The bodhisattva saints who have overcome illusion, from the first stage upwards. To all the saints, or the wise. What is to be ordinarily regarded as an error, that is, this world of particulars, appears neither perverted nor unperverted. The special community established by the Buddha was called the Assembly of the Noble, Arya Sangha, intended to be the cradle of noble persons. Since the Brahmanical tradition had been firmly established, the race distinction was strictly felt. On that account the Buddha often asserted that in his own community, there would be no distinction between Brahmins, priests, and warriors or between masters and slaves. Anyone who joined a brotherhood would have an equal opportunity for leading and training. The Buddha often argued that the word Arya meant noble, and we ought not call a race noble or ignoble, for there will be some ignoble persons among the so-called array, and at the same time there will be some noble persons among the so-called Anarya. When we say noble or ignoble, we should be speaking of an individual, and not of a race as a whole. It is a question of knowledge or wisdom, but not of birth or caste. Thus the object of the Buddha was to create a noble personage, Arya Pujala, in the sense of a noble life. The noble community, Arya Sangha, was founded for that very purpose. The noble ideal, Arya Dharma, and the noble discipline, Arya Vinaya, were set forth for the aspiring candidates. The path to be pursued by the noble aspirant is the noble eightfold path, Arya Ashtangika Marga, and the truth to be believed by the noble is the noble fourfold truth, Kitvari Arya Satyani. The perfections attained by the noble were the four noble fruitions, Arya Phala, and the wealth to be possessed by the noble was the noble sevenfold wealth, Sapta Arya Dana, all being spiritual qualifications. The careful application of the word Arya to each of the important points of his institution must not be overlooked by a student of Buddhism. The Buddha thus seemed to have endeavored to revive the original meaning of Arya in personality and the daily life of his religious community. The holy monk who has achieved higher merit, in contrasted with the ordinary monk, Pham Teng. In Mahayana Buddhism, Manjusri is considered as a holy monk. His image is placed in the center of the monk's assembly room. In Hinayana Buddhism, Kasyapa and Subhuti are considered holy monks. Their images are usually placed in the center of the monk's assembly room. There are four sagely Dharma realms, four kinds of holy men. First, hearers or sound hearers, a direct disciple of the Buddha. Second, Pratika Buddhas, individual illuminates or independently awakened, those enlightened to conditions, a Buddha for himself, not teaching others. Third, Bodhisattvas, enlightened beings. A person who has the state of Bodhi, or a would-be Buddha. Fourth, Buddha, one who has attained a supreme right and balanced state of Bodhi. One who turns the wonderful Dharma wheel. A Buddha is not inside the circle of 10 realms, but as he advents among men to preach his doctrine, he is now partially included in the four saints. 418. The Inconceivables. In Buddhism, beyond thought is equivalent to inconceivable. The inconceivables, asintya, are things that go beyond thought, description, or discussion, or beyond the power of mentation. There are many different categories of the inconceivables. The first kind of inconceivables is the inconceivable anointment. According to the Flower Sutra, chapter 27, there are 10 kinds of inconceivable anointment which enlightening beings received from the enlightened. Once enlightening beings enter the concentration called the pure treasury of the past, they receive 10 kinds of inconceivable anointment from the enlightened. They also attain, purify, consummate, enter, realize, fulfill and hold them, comprehend them equally, the 3 spheres pure. These 10 kinds of inconceivable anointment include explanation without violating meaning, inexhaustibility of teaching, impeccable expression, endless eloquence, freedom from hesitation, truthfulness of speech, the trust of the community, liberating those in the triple world, supreme excellence of roots of goodness, and command of the wondrous teaching. Second, inconceivable, beneficial functions and uses from the pure wisdom. Third, inconceivable Buddha lands. The size of the Buddha lands or the bound of the Buddha realm is beyond human conception. The fourth kind of inconceivables is the inconceivable Dharmakaya. According to Zen Master D.T. Suzuki in the studies in the Lankavatara Sutra, the idea of Dharmakaya is not wanting in the Lankavatara Sutra, and that it is used not in the same of the Dharmakaya of the triple body dogma. The Lankavatara Sutra speaks of the Tathagata's Dharmakaya of the inconceivable Dharmakaya, and of Dharmakaya as will body. Fifth, inconceivable Nagas. Dragons or Nagas are beyond human conception. The sixth kind of inconceivables is the inconceivable permeation. The permeation of the pure self-essence of the mind of truth-usness by ignorance or wisdom, which then appears in the manifest world. According to the awakening of faith, the indescribable vasana or the influence of primal ignorance on the bhuttatathata, producing all illusions. The seventh kind of inconceivables is the inconceivable sentient beings. The Buddha's teaching about living being circumstances is beyond human conception. The eighth kind of inconceivables is the inconceivable transformation life and the inconceivable transformation of the death. Ineffable changes and transmigrations to the higher stages of mortality above the Tridhatuku or Trilokya. The inconceivable transformation life in the Pure Land, the transformation of the Arhats and other saints. The death of mysterious transformation or inconceivable transformation death. This has nothing to do with corporeal existence. It happens only to such spiritual beings as bodhisattvas. A mysterious transformation that takes place within the mind, making it comprehend an external world of particular objects. The ninth kind of inconceivables is the inconceivable wisdom, asindhujnana. The indescribable Buddha's wisdom, or intuitive knowledge. The 10th kind of inconceivables is the inconceivable world. The Buddha's world is beyond human conception. According to Buddhist traditions, there are 4 things of a Buddha which are beyond human conception. In the Ekateragama, there are 4 indescribables. The 4 things of a Buddha which are beyond human conception. The first kind of inconceivables is the inconceivable world. In fact, the Buddha's world is beyond human conception. The second kind of inconceivables is the inconceivable living beings. In fact, the Buddha's teaching about living being circumstances is beyond human conception. The third kind of inconceivables is the inconceivable dragons or Nagas. The Buddha's teachings of Nagas are beyond human conception. The fourth kind of inconceivables is the inconceivable size of the Buddha lands. The Buddha's teaching on the Buddha realms is beyond human conception. In the Surangama Sutra, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva reported to the Buddha about the 4 inconceivables. World-honored one. Because I obtained perfect penetration and cultivated to certification of the unsurpassed path, I also became endowed with 4 inconceivable and effortless wonderful virtues. First, as soon as I obtained the miraculous wonder of hearing the mind became essential, and the hearing was forgotten. Therefore, there was no distinction between seeing, hearing, sensation, and knowing. I achieved a single perfect fusion, pure precious enlightenment. For this reason, I am able to manifest many wonderful appearances and can proclaim boundless secret spiritual mantras. For example, I may take up here 1 head, 3 heads, 5 heads, 7 heads, 9 heads, 11 heads, and so forth, until there may be 108 heads, 1,000 heads, 10,000 heads, or 84,000 Vajra heads, 2 arms, 4 arms, 6 arms, 8 arms, 10 arms, 12 arms, 14, 16, 18 arms, or 20 arms, 24 arms, and so forth until there may be 108 arms, 1,000 arms, 10,000 arms, or 84,000 mudra arms, 2 eyes, 3 eyes, 4 eyes, 9 eyes, and so forth, until there may be 108 eyes, 1,000 eyes, 10,000 eyes, or 84,000 pure and precious eyes, sometimes compassionate, sometimes awesome, sometimes in samadhi, sometimes displaying wisdom to rescue and protect living beings so that they may attain great self-mastery. Second, because of hearing and consideration, I escape the 6 defiling objects, just as a sound leaps over a wall without hindrance. And so I have the wonderful ability to manifest shape after shape, and to recite mantra upon mantra. These shapes and these mantras dispel the fears of living beings. Therefore, throughout the 10 directions, in as many lands as there are fine motes of dust, I am known as one who bestows fearlessness. Third, because I cultivated fundamental, wonderful, perfect penetration and purified the sense organ, everywhere I go in any world I can make it, so that living beings renounce their physical and material valuables, and seek my sympathy. Fourth, I obtained the Buddha's mind and was certified as having attained the ultimate end, and so I can make offerings of rare treasures to the thus come ones of the 10 directions, and to living beings in the 6 paths throughout the Dharma realm. If they seek a spouse, they attain a spouse. If they seek children, they can have children. Seeking samadhi, they obtain samadhi. Seeking long life, they obtain long life, and so forth, to the extent that if they seek the great nirvana, they attain great nirvana. According to the Sastra on the Prajnaparamita Sutra, there are 5 inconceivable or thought surpassing or beyond mentation things. First, the number of living beings. Innumerable number of sentient beings is inconceivable. Second, all the consequences of karma are inconceivable. Third, the powers of a state of dhyana, or the concentration power of a Zen practitioner, is inconceivable. Fourth, the powers of nagas or dragons is inconceivable. Fifth, the powers of the Buddhas, or the Buddha law, is inconceivable. 419. The difficulties. Of all precious jewels, life is the greatest. If there is life, it is the priceless jewel. Thus, if you are able to maintain your livelihood, someday you will be able to rebuild your life. However, everything in life, if it has form characteristics, then, inevitably, one day it will be destroyed. A human life is the same way. If there is life, there must be death. Even though we say 100 years, it passes by in a flash, like lightning streaking across the sky, like a flower's blossom, like the image of the moon at the bottom of a lake, like a short breath. What is really eternal? Sincere Buddhists should always remember, when a person is born, not a single dime is brought along. Therefore, when death arrives, not a word will be taken either. A lifetime of work, putting the body through pain and torture in order to accumulate wealth and possessions, in the end everything is worthless and futile in the midst of birth, old age, sickness, and death. After death, all possessions are given to others in a most senseless and pitiful manner. At such time, there are not even a few good merits for the soul to rely and lean on for the next life. Therefore, such an individual will be condemned into the 3 evil paths immediately. Ancient sages taught, a steel tree of 1,000 years once again blossom. Such a thing is still not bewildering, but once a human body has been lost, 10,000 reincarnations may not return. Sincere Buddhists should always remember what the Buddha taught. It is difficult to be reborn as a human being. It is difficult to encounter, meet or learn the Buddha Dharma. Now we have been reborn as a human being and encountered the Buddha Dharma. If we let the time passes by in vain, we waste our scarce lifespan. According to the Buddha, there are 6 difficult things. First, to be born in human form is difficult. Second, to be born in the Buddha age is difficult. Third, to hear the true Buddha law is difficult. Fourth, to beget a good heart is difficult. Fifth, to be born in the central kingdom is difficult. Sixth, to be perfect is difficult. There are also 6 other difficulties. First, to be born in the Buddha age is difficult. Second, to hear the true Buddha law is difficult. Third, to beget a good heart is difficult. Fourth, to be born in the central kingdom is difficult. Fifth, to be in human form is difficult. Sixth, to be perfect is difficult. There are 8 conditions or circumstances in which it is difficult to see a Buddha or hear his Dharma, or 8 special types of adversities that prevent the practice of the Dharma. First, rebirth in hells, where beings undergo sufferings at all times. Second, rebirth is a hungry ghost or the ghost world, where beings never feel comfortable with non-stop greed. Third, rebirth in an animal realm where beings has no ability and knowledge to practice Dharma. Fourth, rebirth in a Terrakuru, northern continent, where life is always pleasant and desires that beings have no motivation to practice the Dharma. Fifth, rebirth in any long life gods or heavens where life is long and easy, so that beings have no motivation to seek the Buddha Dharma. Sixth, rebirth as worldly philosophers, intelligent and well-educated in mundane sense, who think that they know everything and don't want to study or practice anymore, especially practicing dharmas. Seventh, rebirth with impaired or deficient faculties such as the blind, the deaf, the dumb and the cripple. Eighth, life in a realm wherein there is no Tathagata, or in the intermediate period between a Buddha and his successor. During this period of time, people spent all the time to gossip or to argue for their own views on what they heard about Buddha Dharma, but not practicing. According to the Sutra in 42 sections, Chapter 36, there are 9 difficulties. First, it is difficult for one to leave the evil paths and become a human being. Second, it is still difficult to become a male human being, a man rather than a woman. Third, once one becomes a man, it is difficult to have the 6 organs complete and perfect. Fourth, once the 6 organs are complete and perfect, it is still difficult for one to be born in the central county. Fifth, if one is born in the central country, it is still difficult to be born at the time of a Buddha. Sixth, if one is born at the time of a Buddha, it is still difficult for one to encounter the way. Seventh, if one does encounter the way, it is still difficult for one to bring forth faith. Eighth, if one does have sufficient faith, it is still difficult for one to resolve one's mind on bodhi. Ninth, if one does resolve one's mind on bodhi, it is still difficult to be without cultivation and without attainment. 420. 20 other difficulties people always encounter. In the Sutra of 42 sections, there are 20 difficulties people always encounter. The Buddha taught. First, it is difficult to give when one is poor. It is hard for a poor man to be generous. It is difficult to practice charity when we are poor and destitute, because under such conditions, even if we have the will, we lack the means. To force ourselves to practice charity must entail sacrifices. Second, it is difficult to study the way when one has power and wealth. It is hard for a rich and powerful man to learn the way. It is difficult to study the Dharma when we are wealthy and eminent, because under such favorable circumstances, we may have the means, but we are pulled away by opportunities for enjoyment and self-gratification. Third, it is difficult to abandon life and face the certainty of death. It is hard to seek enlightenment at the cost of self-sacrifice. Fourth, it is difficult to encounter the Buddha Sutras. It is hard to hear the teaching of Buddha. Fifth, it is difficult to be born at the time of a Buddha, while the Buddha is in the world. The difficulty of being born during the lifetime of a Buddha is mentioned in the Perfection of Wisdom treatise as follows. In the town of Sravasti, north of India, out of a total population of 900,000, only 1/3 had actually seen and met Sakyamuni Buddha, another 1/3 had heard his name and believed in him, but had not actually seen or met him. While the remaining 1/3 had not seen, heard or even learned of his existence. Sakyamuni Buddha taught in Sravasti for some 25 years, yet a full 1/3 of the town's population were completely unaware of his existence. Is it any wonder, then, that those who were born during Sakyamuni Buddha's time but did not reside in Sravasti, or those who happened to be born before or after his time, would find it difficult to learn of him or hear the Dharma? However, even though we may not be able to meet Sakyamuni Buddha, cultivating according to the Dharma is tantamount to meeting him. On the other hand, if we do not follow his teaching, even while near him, we are still far away. Thus, Devadatta, Sakyamuni Buddha's very own cousin, as well as Bhikshu Sunaksatra who attended the Buddha personally for 20 years, both descended into the hells because they strayed from the path. There is also the case of an old woman in the eastern quarter of Sravasti, who was born at exactly the same moment as Sakyamuni Buddha, yet, because she lacked causes and conditions, wished neither to see nor to meet him. Thus, not everyone can see the Buddhas and listen to the Dharma. Extensive good roots, merits, virtues and favorable conditions are required. 6th, it is difficult to resist lust and desire. 7th, it is difficult to see good things and not seek them. 8th, it is difficult to be insulted and not become angry. It is hard not to get angry when one is insulted. 9th, it is difficult to have power and not abuse it. 10th, it is difficult to come in contact with things and have no attachment to them or no thoughts of them. It is hard not to be disturbed by external conditions and circumstances. 11th, it is difficult to be greatly learned in the Dharma. It is hard to apply oneself to study widely and thoroughly. 12th, it is difficult to get rid of self-satisfaction and pride. It is hard to keep oneself humble. 13th, it is difficult not to slight those who have not yet studied the Dharma. 14th, it is difficult to practice equanimity of mind. It is hard to keep the mind pure against instincts of the body. 15th, it is difficult not to gossip. 16th, it is difficult to meet good knowing advisor. It is hard to find good friends. Although Sakyamuni Buddha has now entered nirvana, good spiritual advisors are taking turns preaching the way in his stead. If we draw near to them and practice according to their teachings, we can still achieve liberation. Nevertheless, those who possess only scant and shallow roots must find it difficult to meet good spiritual advisors. Even when they do so and hear the Dharma, if they do not understand its meaning, or merely grasp at appearances and forms, refusing to follow it, no benefit can possibly result. According to the Brahmanet and Avatamsaka Sutras, we should ignore appearances and external forms when seeking a good spiritual advisors. For example, we should disregard such traits as youth, poverty, low status or lack of education, unattractive appearance or incomplete features, but should simply seek someone conversant with the Dharma, who can be of benefit to us. Nor should we find fault with good spiritual advisors for acting in certain ways, as it may be due to a number of reasons, such as pursuing a secret cultivation practice or following an expedient teaching. Or else, they may act the way they do because while their achievements may be high, their residual bad habits have not been extinguished. If we grasp at forms and look for faults, we will forfeit benefits on the path of cultivation. 17th, it is difficult to see one's own nature and study the way. 18th, it is difficult to save sentient beings with means appropriate to their situations. 19th, it is difficult to see a state and not be moved by it. It is hard not to argue about right and wrong. 20th, it is difficult to have a good understanding of skill and means, and apply to it well. It is hard to find and learn a good method. 421. The unattainables. According to Buddhist traditions, there are 4 unattainables: perpetual youth, no sickness, perennial life, and no death. According to the Agama Sutra, there are 4 things that may not be treated lightly. First, a prince though young now, but he may become a king in the future, so not to treat him lightly. Second, a snake though small, but its venom can kill people, so not to treat it lightly. Third, a fire though tiny, but it may be able to destroy a big forest or meadow, so not to treat it lightly. Fourth, a novice though a beginner, but he may become an erudite, so not to treat him lightly. There are 4 to whom one does not entrust valuables. The old, death is near, the distant, lest one has immediate need of them, and the evil, or the strong, lest the temptation be too strong for the last 2. There are also 4 invisibles. First, water to fish. Second, air or wind to man. Third, the nature of things to the deluded. Fourth, the void to the enlightened, because he is in his own element, and the void is beyond conception. There are also 4 not born. First, a thing is not born or not produced of itself. Second, a thing is not produced of another or of a cause without itself. Third, a thing is not self-born when it is time to produce the fruit of karma, of both 1 and 2. Fourth, a thing is not born when it is time to produce the fruit of karma, of no cause. 5 things which no one is able to accomplish in this world. First, to cease growing old when he is growing old. Second, to cease being sick, but he still gets sick. Third, to cease dying, but he is still dying at every moment he lives. Fourth, to deny extinction when there is extinction. Fifth, to deny exhaustion. There are 7 unavoidable. First, rebirth is unavoidable. Second, old age is unavoidable. Third, sickness is unavoidable. Fourth, death is unavoidable. Fifth, punishment for sins is unavoidable. Sixth, happiness for goodness is unavoidable. Seventh, consequences or cause and effect are unavoidable. 422. Different kinds of purity. According to Buddhist traditions, there are many different kinds of purity. The first kind of purity is the fundamental purity of the mind. According to the Buddhist teachings, no matter how confused or deluded we may be at the moment, the fundamental nature of being is clear and pure. In the same way, clouds can temporarily obscure but cannot damage the light-giving power of the sun, so does the temporary afflictions of body and mind. The ultimate goal of all Buddhists, regardless of sects, is to uncover and make contact with this fundamental pure nature. According to Buddhist terminology, the ultimate goal of our individual human evolution is enlightenment or Buddhahood. This state can be achieved by everyone. This state can be achieved when all the delusions, greed, hatred, ignorance, etc. presently obscure our mind have been completely removed. The second kind of purity is the pure compassion. Pure compassion able to remove delusion by explaining the truth. Pure compassion not clinging to personal pleasure, giving happiness to all sentient beings. Pure compassion for the sake of wrongly fixated sentient beings, never give up their vow of universal liberation. Pure compassion not seeking reward, purifying their mind. Pure compassion taking on birth and difficult situations, for the purpose of liberating sentient beings. Pure compassion taking on birth on pleasant conditions, to show impermanence. Pure compassion without companion, as they make their determination independently. According to the Flower Adornment Sutra, Chapter 38, there are 10 kinds of pure compassion of great enlightening beings. Enlightening beings who abide by these attain the supremely great compassion of Buddhas. The third kind of purity is the pure bodhi mind, or mind of pure enlightenment. This is the first stage of the practitioner in the esoteric sect. Pure bodhi mind, or mind of pure enlightenment, the first stage of the practitioner in the esoteric sect. The fourth kind of purity is the pure abode heaven, heavens of pure dwelling heavens. The 5 heavens of purity, in the 4th dhyana heaven, where the saints dwell, who will not return to another rebirth. According to the Sanjiti Sutta in the long discourses of the Buddha, there are 5 pure dwelling heavens in the 4th dhyana heaven, into which arhats are finally born. The 5th kind of purity is the pure discipline or pure commandments. Pure commandments, or to keep them in purity. Pure discipline of detachment all views of existence. Pure discipline of not destroying any subjects of study. Pure discipline of not doing any evil. Pure discipline of preserving the aspiration for enlightenment. Pure discipline of preserving the regulations of the Buddha. Pure discipline of protecting all sentient beings. Pure discipline of speech, getting rid of faults of speech. According to the Flower Adornment Sutra, Chapter 38, there are 10 kinds of pure discipline of great enlightening beings. Enlightening beings who abide by these can attain the supreme flawless pure discipline of Buddhas. The 6th kind of purity is the pure conduct of the actions of the mouth. Pure conduct of the actions of the mouth is one of the most important entrances to the great enlightenment, for it eliminates the 4 evils of lying, harsh speech, wicked speech, and two-faced speech. The 7th kind of purity is the pure conduct of the actions of the mind. Pure conduct of the actions of the mind is one of the most important entrances to the great enlightenment, for it eliminates the 3 poisons of greed, hatred and ignorance. The 8th kind of purity is the pure joy. Pure joy of aspiring to enlightenment. Pure joy of being able to tolerate evil-doing sentient beings, and vowing to save and liberate them. Pure joy of cosmic equanimity tirelessly honoring and serving all Buddhas they see. Pure joy of giving one's life in search of truth, without regret. Pure joy of giving up sensual pleasures and always taking pleasure in truth. Pure joy of including sentient beings to give up material pleasures and always take pleasure in truth. Pure joy of not rejecting undisciplined sentient beings, but teaching them and maturing them. Pure joy of relinquishing all possessions. Pure joy of teaching all sentient beings to enjoy meditations, liberations and concentrations, and freely enter and emerge from them. According to the Flower Adornment Sutra, Chapter 38, there are 10 kinds of pure joy of great enlightening beings. Enlightening beings who abide by these can attain the supremely great pure joy of Buddhas. The 9th kind of purity is the pure desires. They are the 5 pure desires or senses, i.e. of the higher worlds, in contrast with the core senses of the lower worlds. The 10th kind of purity is the pure karma. Pure karma, good karma, or deeds that lead to birth in the pure land. There are 3-fold way of obtaining a pure karma. The 11th kind of purity is the pure eyes. Dharma eye, the clear or pure eyes that behold, with enlightened vision, things not only as they seem, but in their reality. The 12th kind of purity is the pure flesh or clean flesh. Pure flesh which may be eaten by a monk without sin. The 13th kind of purity is the pure Dharma of liberation. The pure Dharma which leads to nirvana. The 14th kind of purity is the pure Dharma eye. The pure Dharma eye means to see clearly or purely the truth. The pure Dharma eye, one of the 5 eyes, with which one discerns the 4 noble truths and the unreality of self or things. Hinayan's disciple first discerns the 4 noble truths, and the Mahayana disciple discerns the unreality of self and things. The 15th kind of purity is the pure Dharma body Buddha. According to the Dharma Jewel Platform Sutra, the 6th patriarch taught. Good knowing advisor. What is the clear pure Dharma body Buddha? The worldly person's nature is basically clear and pure, and the 10,000 dharmas are produced from it. The thought of evil produces evil actions, and the thought of good produces good actions. Thus all dharmas exist within self-nature. This is like the sky which is always clear, and the sun and moon which are always bright, so that if they are obscured by floating clouds, it is bright above the clouds and dark below them. But if the wind suddenly blows and scatters the clouds, there is brightness above and below, and the myriad forms appear. The worldly peasant's nature constantly drifts like those clouds in the sky. Good knowing advisors, intelligence is like the sun, and wisdom is like the moon. Intelligence and wisdom are constantly bright, but if you are attached to external states, the floating clouds of false thought cover the self-nature, so that it cannot shine. If you meet a good knowing advisor, if you listen to the true and right Dharma and destroy your own confusion and falseness, then inside and out there will be penetrating brightness, and within the self-nature all the 10,000 dharmas will appear. That is how it is with those who see their own nature. It is called the clear pure Dharma body of the Buddha. The 16th kind of purity is the pure direction. The direction towards the pure land of Amitabha. The 17th kind of purity is the pure contemplation. Pure contemplation, one of the 16 kinds of contemplation in the Infinite Life Sutra. The 18th kind of purity is the pure heart or pure mind, which is the original Buddha nature in every man, purification of the mind or to purify one's mind. Pure mind is one of the most important entrances to great enlightenment, for with it, there is no defilement. Pure mind also means undefiled mind. According to the Avatamsaka Sutra, this is one of the 11 minds that lead to enlightenment. A spotless heart which sees all the Buddhas. The 19th kind of purity is the pure heart stage. This is the 3rd of the 6 resting place of a bodhisattvas, in which all illusory views are abandoned. The 20th kind of purity is the pure body. One of the 3 purities of a bodhisattva. The 21st kind of purity is the pure abode or pure dwelling. Pure abode is the abode of the celibate, a place for pure cultivation, or a place for spiritual cultivation. Pure abode is a place for pure or spiritual cultivation, a house chastity, i.e. a monastery, nunnery, or convent. A dwelling where the Sangha is practicing Buddhist laws. A dwelling where celibate discipline is practiced, a monastery, temple. The 22nd kind of purity is the pure charity or pure giving. Pure charity in which the giver expects no return, nor fame, nor blessing in this world, but only desire to sow nirvana's seed, one of the 2 kinds of charity. According to the Flower Adornment Sutra, Chapter 38, there are 10 kinds of pure giving of great enlightening beings. Enlightening beings who abide by these 10 principles can accomplish the supreme pure magnanimous giving of Buddhas. The 23rd kind of purity is the pure devas or pure heaven. Pure devas, one of the 4 devas. The pure heaven is the realm of the saints, from Sravakas to Pratika Buddhas. The 24th kind of purity is the pure deva eye. Eyes which can see all things small and great, near and far, and the forms of all beings before their transmigration. The 25th kind of purity which is cleansed by the water. Edibles, eatables, recovered from flowing water are clean food to monks and nuns. The 26th kind of purity is the pure energy. According to the Flower Adornment Sutra, Chapter 38, there are 10 kinds of pure energy of great enlightening beings. Enlightening beings who abide by these can attain the supreme great energy of Buddhas. The 27th kind of purity is the pure benevolence. According to the Flower Adornment Sutra, there are 10 kinds of pure benevolence of great enlightening beings. Enlightening beings who abide by these can attain the supreme, vast pure benevolence of Buddhas. The 28th kind of purity is the pure equanimity. According to the Flower Adornment Sutra, Chapter 38, there are 10 kinds of pure equanimity of enlightening beings. Enlightening beings who abide by these can attain the supremely pure equanimity of Buddhas. 423. 5 kinds of knowledge. According to the Shingon sect, there are 5 kinds of wisdom. First, the wisdom derived from the pure consciousness. The wisdom of the embodied nature of Dharmadhatu, defined as the 6 elements, and is associated with Vairocana in the center. Second, the great ground mirror wisdom. Adarsana Jnana, SKT. The great ground mirror wisdom, derived from Alayu Vijnana, Alayu consciousness, reflecting all things, corresponds to the earth, and is associated with Eksabhya in the east. Third, the wisdom which derived from Manavijnana or Mano consciousness, wisdom in regard to all things equally and universally, corresponds to fire and is associated with Ratnasambhava in the south. Fourth, the wisdom derived from wisdom of profound insight, Thien or discrimination, for exposition and doubt destruction, corresponds to water, and is associated with Amitabha in the west. According to the Thien Shingon, Amida is superior over the 5 wisdom Buddhas, Dhyani Buddhas, even though he governs the western quarter, not the center. Of the 5 wisdom Buddhas, Amitabha of the west may be identical with the central Mahavairochana, the Buddha of homo-cosmic identity. Amitabha's original vows, his attainment of Buddhahood of infinite light and life, and his establishment of the land of bliss, are all fully described in the Sukhavati text. Fifth, the wisdom derived from the 5 senses, Ngoc Tran, the wisdom of perfecting the double work of self-welfare and the welfare of others, corresponds to the air, and is associated with Amagasiti, Dailik Maitreya, and the north. 424. Tathagata's response bodies. According to the Surangama Sutra, Book 6, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva vowed in front of the Buddha about his 32 response bodies as follows. World-honored one, because I served and made offerings to the Thus Come One, Kuan Yin, I received from the Thus Come One a transmission of the Vajra Samadhi of all being like an illusion, as one becomes permeated with hearing and cultivates hearing. Because I gained a power of compassion identical with that of all Buddhas, the Thus Come Ones, I became accomplished in 32 response bodies and entered all lands. The wonderful purity of 32 response bodies, by which one enters into all lands and accomplishes self-mastery by means of samadhi of becoming permeated with hearing and cultivating hearing, and by means of the miraculous strength of effortlessness. First, if there are bodhisattvas who enter samadhi and vigorously cultivate the extinction of outflows, who have superior understanding and manifest perfected penetration, I will appear in the body of a Buddha and speak Dharma for them, causing them to attain liberation. Second, if there are those who are studying, who are tranquil and have wonderful clarity, who are superior and miraculous and manifest perfection, I will appear before them in the body of a solitarily enlightened one, and speak Dharma for them, causing them to attain liberation. Third, if there are those who are studying, who have severed the 12 causal conditions, and, having severed the conditions, reveal a supreme nature, and who are superior and wonderful and manifest perfection, I will appear before them in the body of one enlightened to conditions and speak Dharma for them, causing them to attain liberation. Fourth, if there are those who are studying, who have attained the emptiness of the Four Truths, and cultivating the way, have entered extinction, and have a superior nature and manifest perfection, I will appear before them in the body of a sound hearer and speak Dharma for them, causing them to attain liberation. Fifth, if there are living beings who wish to have their minds be clear and awakened, who do not engage in mundane desires and wish to purify their bodies, I will appear before them in the body of a Brahma king and speak Dharma for them, causing them to attain liberation. Sixth, if there are living beings who wish to be the heavenly Lord, leader of heavenly beings, I will appear before them in the body of a chakra and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. Seventh, if living beings wish to attain physical self-mastery and to roam throughout the 10 directions, I will appear before them in the body of a god from the heaven of self-mastery, and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. Eighth, if there are living beings who wish to attain physical self-mastery and fly through space, I will appear before them in the body of a god from the heaven of great self-mastery, and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. Ninth, if there are living beings who are fond of ruling over ghosts and spirits in order to rescue and protect their country, I will appear before them in the body of a great heavenly general, and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. 10th, if there are living beings who like to govern the world in order to protect living beings, I will appear before them in the body of one of the 4 heavenly kings, and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. 11th, if there are living beings who enjoy being born in the heavenly palaces and to command ghosts and spirits, I will appear before them in the body of a prince from the kingdoms of the 4 heavenly kings, and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. 12th, if there are living beings who would like to be kings of people, I will appear before them in the body of a human king and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. 13th, if there are living beings who enjoy being heads of households, whom those of the world venerate and yield to, I will appear before them in the body of an elder and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. 14th, if there are living beings who delight in discussing the classics and who keep themselves lofty and pure, I will appear before them in the body of an Upasaka and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. 15th, if there are living beings who enjoy governing the country and who can handle matters of state decisively, I will appear before them in the body of an official and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. 16th, if there are living beings who like reckoning and incantation and who wish to guard and protect themselves, I will appear before them in the body of a Brahmin and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. 17th, if there are men who want to leave the home life and uphold the precepts and rules, I will appear before them in the body of a bhikshu and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. 18th, if there are women who would like to leave the home life and hold the pure precepts, I will appear before them in the body of a bhikshuni and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. 19th, if there are men who want to uphold the 5 precepts, I will appear before them in the body of an Upasaka and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. 20th, if there are women who wish to base themselves in the 5 precepts, I will appear before them in the body of an Upasaka and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. 21st, if there are women who govern internal affairs of household or country, I will appear before them in the body of a queen, first lady, or noblewoman and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. 22nd, if there are virgin lads, I will appear before them in the body of a pure youth, and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. 23rd, if there are maidens who want to remain virgins and do not wish to marry, I will appear before them in the body of a gracious lady and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. 24th, If there are heavenly beings who wish to escape their heavenly destiny, I will appear before them in the body of a god and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. 25th. If there are dragons who want to quit their lot of being dragons, I will appear before them in the body of a dragon and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. 26th. If there are yakshas who want to get out of their present fate, I will appear before them in the body of a yaksha and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. 27th. If there are Gandharvas who wish to be freed from their destiny, I will appear before them in the body of a Gandharva and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. 28th. If there are asuras who wish to be liberated from their destiny, I will appear before them in the body of an asura and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. 29th. If there are Kinnaras who wish to transcend their fate, I will appear before them in the body of a Kinnara and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. 30th. If there are Maharagas who wish to be freed from their destiny, I will appear before them in the body of a Maharaga and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. 31st. If there are living beings who like being people and want to continue to be people, I will appear before them in the body of a person and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. 32nd. If there are non-humans, whether with form or without form, whether with thought or without thought, who long to be freed from their destiny, I will appear before them in a body like theirs and speak Dharma for them, enabling them to accomplish their wish. 425. 8 Occasions of Indolence. According to the Sanjiti Sutta in the Long Discourses of the Buddha, there are 8 occasions of indolence. The first occasion of indolence: here a monk has a job to do. He thinks, I've got this job to do, but it will make me tired. I'll have a rest. So he lies down and does not stir up enough energy to complete the uncompleted, to accomplish the unaccomplished, to realize the unrealized. The second occasion of indolence: here, a monk who has done some work and thinks, I've done this work, now I'm tired. I'll have a rest. So he lies down and does not stir up energy to complete the uncompleted, to accomplish the unaccomplished, and to realize the unrealized. The third occasion of indolence: here a monk who has to go on a journey and thinks, I have to go on this journey. It will make me tired. I'll have a rest. So he lies down and does not stir up energy to complete the uncompleted, to accomplish the unaccomplished, and to realize the unrealized. The fourth occasion of indolence: here a monk who has been on a journey and thinks, I've been on this journey. Now I'm tired. I'll have a rest. So he lies down and does not stir up energy to complete the uncompleted, to accomplish the unaccomplished, and to realize the unrealized. The fifth occasion of indolence: here a monk who goes on the alms round in a village or town and does not get his fill of food, whether coarse or fine, and he thinks, I've gone for alms round in the village or town and don't get my fill of food, whether coarse or fine. Now I'm tired. I'll have a rest. So he lies down and does not stir up energy to complete the uncompleted, to accomplish the unaccomplished, and to realize the unrealized. The sixth occasion of indolence: here a monk who goes on alms round in a village or town and gets his fill of food, whether coarse or fine, and he thinks, I've gone for alms round in a village or town and get my fill of food, whether coarse or fine, and my body is heavy and useless, as if I were pregnant. I'll have a rest. So he lies down and does not stir up energy to complete the uncompleted, to accomplish the unaccomplished, to realize the unrealized. The seventh occasion of indolence: here a monk who has developed some light and disposition, and he thinks, I'd better have a rest. So he lies down and does not stir up energy to complete the uncompleted, to accomplish the unaccomplished, to realize the unrealized. The eighth occasion of indolence: here a monk who is recuperating, having not long recovered from an illness, and he thinks, my body is weak and useless. I'll have a rest. So he lies down and does not stir up energy to complete the uncompleted, to accomplish the unaccomplished, to realize the unrealized. 426. The Buddha's manifestation. From the Buddhist point of view, all the circumstances of our life are manifestations of our own consciousness. This is the fundamental understanding of Buddhism. From painful, afflictive and confused situations to happy and peaceful circumstances, all are rooted in our own mind. Our problems are we tend to follow the lead of that restless mind, a mind that continuously gives birth to new thoughts and ideas. As a result, we are lured from one situation to another hoping to find happiness, yet we only experience nothing but fatigue and disappointment, and in the end we keep moving in the cycle of birth and death. The solution is not to suppress our thoughts and desires, for this would be impossible. It would be like trying to cover a stone over grass. Grass will find its way to survive. We must find a better solution than that. Why do we not train ourselves to observe our thoughts without following them? This will deprive them their suppressing energy, and as therefore, they will die out by themselves. Devout Buddhists do not consider the Buddha as one who can save us from the consequence of our individual sins. On the contrary, we should consider the Buddha as an all-seeing, all-wise counselor, one who discovered the safe path and pointed it out, one who showed the cause of, and the only cure for, human sufferings and afflictions. In pointing out the road, in showing us how to escape these sufferings and afflictions, he became our guide. The Buddha appeared for the changing beings from illusion into enlightenment, according to the Lotus Sutra, or the Buddha nature, according to the Nirvana Sutra, or the Joy of Paradise, according to the Infinite Life Sutra. According to the Flower Adornment Sutra, Chapter 33, there are 10 kinds of instantly creative knowledge of the Buddhas. First, all Buddhas can, in a single instant, appear to descend from heaven in infinite worlds. Second, all Buddhas can, in a single instant, manifest birth as enlightening beings in infinite worlds. Third, all Buddhas manifest renunciation of the mundane and study of the way to liberation in infinite worlds. Fourth, all Buddhas manifest attainment of true enlightenment under enlightenment trees in infinite worlds. Fifth, all Buddhas manifest turning the wheel of the teaching in infinite worlds. Sixth, all Buddhas manifest education of sentient beings and service of the enlightened in infinite worlds. Seventh, all Buddhas, in a single instant, manifest untold variety of Buddha bodies in infinite worlds. Eighth, all Buddhas can, in a single instant, manifest all kinds of adornments in infinite worlds, innumerable adornments, the freedom of the enlightened, and the treasury of omniscience. Ninth, all Buddhas can, in a single instant, manifest countless of pure beings in infinite worlds. 10th, all Buddhas can, in a single instant, manifest the Buddhas of past, present and future in infinite worlds. All Buddhas manifest with various faculties and characters. All Buddhas manifest with various energies. All Buddhas manifest with various practical understandings. All Buddhas manifest and attain true enlightenment in the past, present and future. According to the Flower Adornment Sutra, Chapter 38, there are 10 reasons enlightening beings appear as children. First, enlightening beings manifest as children in order to learn all worldly arts and sciences. Second, enlightening beings manifest as children in order to learn the writing, military arts and various worldly occupations. Third, enlightening beings manifest as children in order to learn all kinds of worldly things, such as literature, conversation, games, and amusements. Fourth, enlightening beings manifest as children because of the shedding of errors and faults of word, thought, and deed. Fifth, enlightening beings manifest as children in order to enter concentration, staying in the door of nirvana, and pervading infinite worlds in the 10 directions. Sixth, enlightening beings manifest as children in order to show that their power goes beyond all creatures, celestials, human, and non-human. Seventh, enlightening beings manifest as children in order to show that the appearance and majesty of enlightening beings goes beyond all deities. Eighth, enlightening beings manifest as children in order to cause sentient beings addicted to sensual pleasures to joyfully take pleasure in truth. Ninth, enlightening beings manifest as children in order to show the reception of truth and respectfully make offerings to all Buddhas. 10th, enlightening beings manifest as children in order to show empowerment of Buddhas and being bathed in the light of truth. According to the Flower Adornment Sutra, Chapter 38, there are 10 reasons enlightening beings appear to live in a royal palace. First, enlightening beings manifest to live in a royal palace in order to cause roots of goodness of their colleagues of the past to develop to maturity. Second, enlightening beings manifest to live in a royal palace in order to show the power of roots of goodness of enlightening beings. Third, enlightening beings manifest to live in a royal palace in order to show the comforts of great spiritual power of enlightening beings to humans and celestials who are obsessed with comforts. Fourth, enlightening beings manifest to live in a royal palace in order to adapt to the minds of sentient beings in the polluted world. Fifth, enlightening beings appear to live in a royal palace in order to manifest the spiritual power of enlightening beings, able to enter concentration in the heart of the palace. Sixth, enlightening beings manifest to live in a royal palace in order to enable those who had the same aspiration in the past to fulfill their aims. Seventh, enlightening beings manifest to live in a royal palace in order to enable their parents, family and relatives to fulfill their wishes. Eighth, enlightening beings manifest to live in a royal palace in order to use music to produce the sounds to the sublime teaching to offer to all Buddhas. Ninth, enlightening beings manifest to live in a royal palace in order to dwell in this subtle concentration while in the palace and show everything from the attainment of Buddhahood to final extinction. 10th, enlightening beings manifest to live in a royal palace in order to accord with and preserve the teaching of the Buddhas. According to the Flower Adornment Sutra, Chapter 38, there are 10 kinds of certain understanding of the realm of sentient beings. Enlightening beings who abide by these can attain the supremely powerful certain understanding of Buddhas. First, great enlightening beings know that all realms of sentient beings essentially have no reality. Second, great enlightening beings know that all realms of sentient beings enter the body of one sentient being. Third, great enlightening beings know that all realms of sentient beings enter the body of an enlightening being. Fourth, great enlightening beings know that all realms of sentient beings enter the matrix of enlightenment. Fifth, great enlightening beings know that the body of one sentient being enters all realms of sentient beings. Sixth, great enlightening beings know that all realms of sentient beings can be vessels of the Buddha's teaching. Seventh, great enlightening beings know all realms of sentient beings and manifest the bodies of celestial beings for them according to their desires. Eighth, great enlightening beings know all realms of sentient beings and manifest the tranquil compassed behavior of saints and individual illuminates for them according to their inclinations. Ninth, great enlightening beings know all realms of sentient beings and manifest to them the bodies of enlightening beings adorned with virtues. 10th, great enlightening beings know all realms of sentient beings and show them the marks and embellishments and the tranquil comportment of Buddhas and enlightened sentient beings. According to the Flower Adornment Sutra, Chapter 38, there are 10 reasons great enlightening beings leave a royal palace. First, great enlightening beings leave a royal palace to reject living at home. Second, great enlightening beings leave a royal palace to cause sentient beings attached to their homes give up their attachment. Third, great enlightening beings leave a royal palace to follow and appreciate the path of saints. Fourth, great enlightening beings leave a royal palace to publicize and praise the virtues of leaving home. Fifth, great enlightening beings leave a royal palace to demonstrate internal detachment from extreme views. Sixth, great enlightening beings leave a royal palace to cause sentient beings to detach from sensual and selfish pleasures. Seventh, great enlightening beings leave a royal palace to show the appearance of transcending the world. Eighth, great enlightening beings leave a royal palace to show independence, not being subject to another. Ninth, great enlightening beings leave a royal palace to show that they are going to attain the 10 powers and fearlessnesses of Buddhas. 10th, great enlightening beings leave a royal palace too because it is natural that enlightening beings in their final life should do so. According to the Flower Adornment Sutra, there are 10 reasons great enlightening beings show the act of walking 7 steps. For these 10 reasons they show the act of walking 7 steps after birth, they manifest this to pacify sentient beings. First, great enlightening beings show the act of walking 7 steps to manifest the power of enlightening beings. Second, great enlightening beings show the act of walking 7 steps to manifest the giving of the 7 kinds of wealth. Third, great enlightening beings show the act of walking 7 steps to satisfy the wishes of the spirits of the earth. Fourth, great enlightening beings show the act of walking 7 steps to manifest the appearance of transcending the 3 worlds. Fifth, great enlightening beings show the act of walking 7 steps to manifest the supreme walk of the enlightening being, beyond the walk of the elephant, the bull, or the lion. Sixth, great enlightening beings show the act of walking 7 steps to manifest the characteristics of adamantine ground. Seventh, great enlightening beings show the act of walking 7 steps to manifest the desire to give sentient beings courageous strength. Eighth, great enlightening beings show the act of walking 7 steps to manifest the practice of the 7 jewels of awakening. Ninth, great enlightening beings show the act of walking 7 steps to show that the truth they have realized does not come from the instruction of another. 10th, great enlightening beings show the act of walking 7 steps to manifest supreme peerless in the world. According to the Flower Adornment Sutra, Chapter 38, there are 10 reasons why great enlightening beings smile and make a promise in their hearts to tame and pacify sentient beings. First, great enlightening beings manifest to smile and make a promise because they think that all worldlings are sunk in the mire of craving, and no one but enlightening beings can rescue them. Second, great enlightening beings manifest to smile and make a promise to tame and pacify sentient beings, because all worldlings are blinded by passion and afflictions, and only enlightening beings have wisdom. Third, great enlightening beings manifest to smile and make a promise to tame and pacify sentient beings, because based on this so-called body, enlightening beings will attain the supreme reality body of Buddhas, which fills all times. Fourth, great enlightening beings manifest to smile and make a promise to tame and pacify sentient beings, because at the time, the enlightening beings, with unobstructed eyes, look over all the Brahma heavens and all the controlling heavens, and think. These sentient beings all think they have the power of knowledge. Fifth, great enlightening beings manifest to smile and make a promise to tame and pacify sentient beings, because they observe sentient beings who have long planted roots of goodness, and who now are regressing and sinking. Sixth, great enlightening beings manifest to smile and make a promise to tame and pacify sentient beings, because they observe that though the seeds sown in the world be few, the fruits reaped are many. Seventh, great enlightening beings manifest to smile and make a promise to tame and pacify sentient beings, because they see that all sentient beings who receive the teaching of Buddha will surely gain benefit. Eighth, great enlightening beings manifest to smile and make a promise to tame and pacify sentient beings, because they see that enlightening beings who were their colleagues in past ages have become obsessed with other things and cannot attain the great virtues of the Buddha teaching. Ninth, great enlightening beings manifest to smile and make a promise to tame and pacify sentient beings, because they see that the celestials and humans who were in the same communities with them in the past still are in mundane states, unable to detach from them, and not tiring of them either. 10th, great enlightening beings manifest to smile and make a promise to tame and pacify sentient beings, because at that time they are bathed in the lights of all Buddhas and are even more joyful. Besides, there are many other manifestations. First, manifest be awake to all truths and expound their meanings, definitively, without duality. All Buddhas can manifest be awake to all truths and expound their meanings, definitively, without duality. One of the 10 kinds of mastery of non-dual action of all Buddhas. Second, manifest for external aid. This is the aid in the blessing and powers of this life. In contrast with invisible or mysteric aid, in getting rid of sins, increasing virtue. Third, manifest physical forms to do Buddha work for sentient beings. One of the 10 kinds of performance of Buddha work for sentient beings of all Buddhas. The fourth kind of manifestation is the manifest virtue. To manifest virtue, positive in deeds and thoughts is expounded in the Avatamsaka Sutra Kin Hoengium, in contrast with to repress the passions. The fourth kind of manifestation is the manifestation of the body. The sixth kind of manifestation is the manifestation of Dharma body. The seventh kind of manifestation is the manifestation of untold Buddhas in the world. The eighth kind of manifestation is the manifested Buddha, Sakyamuni Buddha. The ninth kind of manifestation is the manifesting the autonomous spiritual capacities of all enlightening beings. Manifesting the autonomous spiritual capacities of all enlightening beings is a grove for enlightening beings because they use great spiritual powers to turn the wheel of teaching unceasingly and civilize sentient beings. This is one of the 10 kinds of grove of great enlightening beings. Enlightening beings who abide by these can achieve the Buddha's unexcelled peaceful, happy action, free from sorrow and affliction. The 10th kind of manifestation is the manifesting birth in the phenomenal realm, but having no attachment to anything. Imbued with the qualities of Buddhahood, they manifest birth in the phenomenal realm, their physical features perfect, their associates pure, yet they have no attachment to anything. 427. Bodhikaya. A lot of people think of the Buddha's body as his physical body. Truly, the Buddha's body means enlightenment. It is formless and without substance. It always has been and always will be. It is not a physical body that must be nourished by ordinary food. It is an eternal body whose substance is wisdom. Therefore, Buddha will never disappear as long as enlightenment exists. Enlightenment appears as the light of wisdom that awakens people into a newness of life and causes them to be born into the world of Buddhas. According to Mahayana doctrine, Buddhas have 3 bodies. 1. Dharmakaya, or body of the great order, or true body of the Buddha. This is the true nature of the Buddha, which is identical with transcendental reality, the essence of the universe. The Dharmakaya is the unity of the Buddha with everything existing. It represents the law or Dharma, the teaching expounded by the Buddha, Sakyamuni. 2. Sambhogakaya, or body of delight, the body of Buddhas who in a Buddha paradise enjoy the truth that they embody. This is also the result of previous good actions. And 3. Nirmanakaya, or body of transformation, or emanation body, the earthly body in which Buddhas appear to men in order to fulfill the Buddha's resolve to guide all beings to advance to Buddhahood, liberation. The Nirmanakaya is embodied in the earthly Buddhas and Bodhisattvas projected into the world through the meditation of the Sambhogakayas, a result of their compassion. The 3 bodies are not one and yet not different. It is because the levels of understanding of human beings are different. Some see the Dharma body, still others see the reward body, and still others see the response body. For example, some look at a pearl as a substance which is round and perfect, others see the pure light emitting by the pearl, still others see the pearl reflected within itself. Apart from the substance of the pearl and the light, there is no pure light emitting, nor reflection inside the pearl. Thus the 3 are one. These are Buddha's threefold body. A Buddha has 3 bodies or planes of reality. According to the Yogacara philosophy, the triple body is Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Nirmanakaya. Dharmakaya or Dharma body, law body, is likened to the field of a specific career. The Sambhogakaya or bliss body is a person's training by which that person acquires the knowledge of that specific career. And the Nirmanakaya or the body of transformation is likened the application of this knowledge in daily life to earn a living. According to the Lankavatara Sutra, there are 4 kinds of Bodhikaya: Nirmakaya, Sambhogakaya, Buddha wisdom or great wisdom, Tathata Jnanabuddha, and Dharmakaya. According to the Sastra on the consciousness, there are 4 kinds of Bodhikaya: Nirmakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Dharmakaya. According to the Thien Phuc sect, there are 4 kinds of Bodhikaya: Nirmakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Dharmakaya. This sect believes that the reward body, the Sambhogakaya of a Buddha, the incarnation body of the Buddha, or retribution body in which he enjoys the reward of his labors. Our physical body is called the retribution body because we are on this earth, the Saha world or world of endurance, as a result of good and evil karma. Thien Phuc believes that the transformation body of the Buddha is the manifested body, or any incarnation of Buddha. The transformation body of the Buddha is corresponding to the Buddha incarnation of the Buddhadatta. Also, according to the Thien Phuc sect, there are 5 kinds of Buddhakaya. The first Buddha body is the spiritual body of wisdom. This is the spiritual body of Buddhadatta wisdom, Sambhogakaya. The second Buddha body is the Sambhogakaya, the spiritual body of all virtuous achievement. The third Buddha body is the Nirmakaya, the body of incarnation in the world, or the spiritual body of incarnation in the world. The fourth Buddha body is the Nirmakaya, or the body of unlimited power of transformation. The fifth Buddha body is the Dharmakaya, the body of unlimited space. According to the Flower Adornment Sutra, there are 5 kinds of Buddhakaya. The first Buddha body is the body or person of Buddha born from the Dharma nature. The second Buddha body is the Dharmakaya evolved by Buddha virtue or achievement. The third Buddha body is the Dharmakaya with unlimited powers of transformation. The fourth Buddha body is the real Dharmakaya. The fifth Buddha body is the universal Dharmakaya. The Dharmakaya is being like space which enfolds all things, omniscient and pure. According to the Surangama Sutra, Book 6, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva vowed in front of the Buddha about his 32 response bodies as follows. World-honored one, because I served and made offerings to the Thus Come One, Kuan Yin, I received from the Thus Come One a transmission of the Vajra Samadhi of all being like an illusion, as one becomes permeated with hearing and cultivates hearing. Because I gained a power of compassion identical with that of all Buddhas, the Thus Come Ones, I became accomplished in 32 response bodies and entered all lands. The wonderful purity of 32 response bodies, by which one enters into all lands and accomplishes self-mastery by means of samadhi of becoming permeated with hearing and cultivating hearing, and by means of the miraculous strength of effortlessness. According to the Dharma Jewel Platform Sutra, the 6th Patriarch taught. Good knowing advisor. What is the perfect full reward body of the Buddha? Just as one lamp can disperse the darkness of 1,000 years, one thought of wisdom can destroy 10,000 years of delusion. Do not think of the past, it is gone and can never be recovered. Instead, think always of the future, and in every thought, perfect and clear, see your own original nature. Although good and evil differ, the original nature is non-dual. That non-dual nature is the real nature. Undefiled by either good or evil, it is the perfect full reward body of the Buddha. One evil thought arising from the self-nature destroys 10,000 eons worth of good karma. One good thought arising from the self-nature ends evils as numerous as the sand grains in the Ganges River. To reach the unsurpassed Bodhi directly, see it for yourself in every thought, and do not lose the original thought. That is the reward body of the Buddha. In Hinayana, the Buddha nature in its absolute side is described as not discussed, being synonymous with the 5 divisions of the commandments, meditation, wisdom, release, and doctrine. The Madhyamaka school of Nagarjuna defines the absolute or ultimate reality as the formless which contains all forms, the essence of being, the noumenon of the other 2 manifestations of the Triratna. The Dharmalaksana school defines the nature of the Dharmakaya as the nature or essence of the whole Triratna and the particular form of the Dharma in that trinity. The one vehicle schools represented by the Huayan and Thien Phuc sects consider the nature of the Dharmakaya to be the Buddhadatta, noumenon and wisdom being one and undivided. The Shingon sect takes the 6 elements as the nature of Dharmakaya. First, takes the 6 elements, earth, water, fire, air, space, as noumenon or fundamental Dharmakaya. Second, takes mind, intelligence or knowledge, as the wisdom Dharmakaya. The nature of the Dharmakaya is the absolute, the true nature of all things which is immutable, immovable and beyond all concepts and distinctions. Dharmata, Phopton, or Dharma nature, or the nature underlying all things has numerous alternative forms. According to the Mahayana traditions, there are 7 surpassing qualities of a Buddha. First, the Buddha's body with 32 signs and 84 marks. Second, the Buddha's Dharma or universal law, the way of universal mercy. Third, the Buddha's wisdom. Fourth, the Buddha's perfection with perfect insight or doctrine. Fifth, the Buddha's supernatural powers. Sixth, the Buddha's ability to overcome hindrance and attain deliverance. Seventh, the Buddha's abiding place, nirvana. Besides, there are many other surpassing qualities of a Buddha. According to the doctrine of the Mahasangika in the Samabhedabharakanakakra, the Buddha Kaya is inconceivably pure. First, the Tathagata, the Buddha, or the Blessed One, transcends all worlds. Second, the Tathagata has no worldly substances. Third, all the words of the Tathagata preach the Dharma. Fourth, the Tathagata explains explicitly all things. Fifth, the Tathagata teaches all things as they are. Sixth, the Tathagata has physical form. Seventh, the Buddha's authority is unlimited. Eighth, the life of the Buddha body is limitless. Ninth, the Tathagata is never tired of saving beings. 10th, the Buddha does not sleep. 11th, the Tathagata is above the need to ponder questions. 12th, the Tathagata, being always in meditation, utters no word, nevertheless, he preaches the truth for all beings by means of words and explanations. 13th, the Tathagata understands all matters instantaneously. 14th, the Tathagata gains complete understanding with his wisdom equal within a single thought moment. 15th, the Tathagata unceasingly produce wisdom regarding destruction of defilements and wisdom concerning non-origination until reaching nirvana. 428. The nature of the Dharma. The nature of the Dharma is the absolute, the true nature of all things which is immutable, immovable and beyond all concepts and distinctions. Dharmata, Phuc Ton, or Dharma nature, or the nature underlying all things has numerous alternative forms. The nature of the Dharma is the enlightened world, that is, the totality of infinity of the realm of the Buddha. The Dharma realm is just the one mind. The Buddhas certify to this and accomplish their Dharma bodies inexhaustible, level, and equal is the Dharma realm, in which the bodies of all thus come ones pervade. The nature of Dharma is a particular plane of existence, as in the 10 Dharma realms. The Dharma realms pervade empty space to the bounds of the universe, but in general, there are 4 sagely Dharma realms and 6 ordinary Dharma realms. These 10 Dharma realms do not go beyond the current thought you are thinking. Dharma nature is called by many different names. Inherent Dharma or Buddha nature, abiding Dharma nature, realm of Dharma, Dharma etc., embodiment of Dharma, Dharmakaya, region of reality, reality, immaterial nature, nature of the void, Buddha nature, appearance of nothingness, immateriality, Bhuttadathata, Tathagatagarbha, universal nature, immortal nature, impersonal nature. Realm of abstraction, immutable nature, realm beyond thought, and mind of absolute purity, or unsulliedness, and so on. Besides, there are other definitions that are related to Dharma nature. First, Dharma nature and Bhuttadathata, different names but the nature is the same. Second, Dharma nature or Dharmakaya. Third, Dharma nature is a mountain, fixed and immovable. Fourth, Dharma nature in its phenomenal character. The Dharma nature in the sphere of illusion. Bhuttadathata in its phenomenal character, the Dharma nature may be static or dynamic. When dynamic it may by environment either become sullied, producing the world of illusion, or remain unsullied, resulting in nirvana. Static, it is like a smooth sea, dynamic, to its waves. This is the end of this video. As you already know, Buddha emphasized the importance of generosity supporting the spread of the Dharma for spiritual growth. We can cultivate this virtue in our digital age. Now I need your help spreading the Buddha teaching further by subscribing, liking, and sharing our channel. You're supporting the dissemination of valuable teachings, much like this Sangha was supported in the past. Your engagement accumulates positive karma for you and helps make the Dharma accessible to a wider audience, a meritorious act indeed. Let's do this with pure intentions, free from attachment and selfishness, fostering a sense of community and supporting our own spiritual journey. These principles, rooted in Buddhist ethics, continue to guide us. You will receive great blessings for supporting the propagation of Buddha's teachings in a very simple way. By subscribing, liking, and sharing to help spreading the Buddha teaching to all human beings. Wishing you and your family always have a peaceful and happy life.